So, what's going to happen now with home prices and mortgage rates? We're into the new year, lots going on, politics galore, Trump crazy town. But let's get back to basics. What's happening in housing, house prices, and mortgage rates? Okay, if you stop and think about it, it wasn't, prices aren't surging. Rates are down. They're down into the lowish fours, 419, 429, 439. Real estate's not going crazy across Canada. Some places are good. Quebec, good for them, because they don't have a booming market. And at the very height of the 2021 craziness in Canada, Quebec was just a bit up. Their prices were a bit up. Their activity was a bit up. They weren't surging like Vancouver and Toronto and all of Ontario. So what's going on right now? Like, the truth is, house sales, real estate sales, residential in Toronto and Vancouver are really fairly flat. There was a bit of a bounce. Prices are up in the tiniest way province wide in Ontario. Like, we're talking tiny. We're talking like under 1%. It's a blip. Prices in the GTA, like home values in the GTA itself, are down because they're being pulled down. All house prices are being pulled down by the condo crash. The dramatic drop in condo prices in Toronto is pulling all prices down. So activity's not that brisk. It's like at below 10-year averages. Prices are not surging, even though rates are down into the fours, low fours. And what's it all mean? Like, shouldn't there be pent up demand? Like, was super slow in 23, and so isn't there people who really need to buy? Because there's always people who need to buy, right? There's always divorce, there's death, there's job change, there's always a reason to buy and sell. But the truth is, the math is lousy. Here's what it really proves: that in big cities in Canada, investment purchases by people to rent out properties or Airbnb properties or flip properties, whatever, not the point of living in them. That element in past years has been big, and it is very, very cold now. It's very low. So when that happens, the whole pattern of activity slows right down. So will house prices come down? Sure as hell condos and 416 will, that's for sure. But the rest, it's hard to know. It's possible because, and remember, everybody who bought in 2021, their houses are worth less. So when those houses show losses, when they're sold, is it that meaningful? Because we're still nowhere near 2018 prices yet. Not even close in almost across Canada. We're not close. So it's not a housing crash for low-rise housing. But is it going to get worse? We don't know. I've always said that the problem is knowing just how bad the economy is going to get. If the economy gets really bad, sales slow down, like unit sales slow down, prices do tend to decline. I mean, that's just the history of it all. And hey, we don't quite know where that leads. We haven't got clear signs yet, except kind of gradual upticks in unemployment and really no good news. I've read, I've looked at posts. I've seen no great economic news at all in Canada for months. And with the Trump tariffs, some version of them is going to come in soon. Who knows what it is, but it'll be something. And all this stuff pushes back against Canada. So will prices fall? Could be a gradual fall, could be a bit. I don't see much on the horizon except the possibility of even lower rates. I'll get to that in a second. To really push prices up. I don't see any investors suddenly starting to come into the market. I just don't see it. Now, what about rates? So rates will continue to edge down a bit. I know there's pushback. People say, no, inflation's coming back. You'll see, and rates will have to go up. U.S. has stopped dropping rates. U.S. Fed's finished dropping. Yeah, they probably finished dropping for today, but they might not be finished dropping for the whole year. And in Canada, if this is what I know, not from being smart, just from being old. When the economy gets really, really bad, the rates will come down. They might not come down much. We'll see variable rate. There'll be another cut and probably another few more cuts by the Bank of Canada this year. They will let the dollar drop and they will just take the hit to try to keep the economy afloat. That's better rates, but it's a little bit more inflation. It's just that in a really bad economy, it's hard to get inflation really going. Now, what's this as a real? Is this a prediction, Ron? Are there going to be lower rates? Yeah, they're going to be a bit lower rates than today. There won't be radically lower rates, but in the end, the suggestions that rates are going to start going up again in Canada I do not believe it is a correct suggestion. I don't think it's true. I think we'll see rates edge down. Now, I want everybody just to stop and think about this for a second. I know this is technical, but there's something called quantitative easing. Quantitative easing is what the Bank of Canada used in 2021 to create these ridiculously low rates where you could get a 5-year fixed rate mortgage for 1.59. Good Lord, how crazy is that in hindsight? But that's done by quantitative easing. That's done by the Bank of Canada buying Government of Canada bonds, and they have the power to do it. So will that come back? The truth is, we don't know. It's not impossible. If the economy worsens enough, QE could start again and rates could fall. Now, I'm not saying this to try to be some kind of pumper for the real estate business, because everybody knows I am the opposite of a pumper of the real estate business. But what I do know is that in a crappy economy, the Bank of Canada will likely take action, and that could produce lower rates. But in that same crappy economy, it may not create a bump in house sales.